Hey guys, in this video we are going to talk about chronic pain. The first part of this video is just going to be my story and my diagnosis, and then the second part of the video is going to be how I overcame or how I dealt with the day-to-day life in pain. Today we're going to talk about living with chronic pain. I've just celebrated my second year anniversary of living pain-free. So let me rewind a little bit. In 2015, I was diagnosed with something called pelvic congestion syndrome. Now, I suffered from pain and had to be rushed to the hospital like way before then, before I was actually diagnosed. But I was at Keesler Air Force Base and got really sick, and they did more tests on me than doctors typically do, and that's when they found that I had pelvic congestion syndrome, also known as nutcracker phenomenon. I had an artery that had a vein laying on top of it, which means that blood could not flow through that vein and caused my veins to swell. So as you can imagine, having your veins swell is like really painful. So I was rushed to the hospital just all the time, just non-stop going to the hospital. And I had so many different procedures and so many different outpatient procedures and surgeries to try to fix it, avoiding the big one, the big surgery that I knew that I needed, but I was too afraid to get. In 2017, I got a partial hysterectomy, thinking that that was going to solve everything, and it didn't. Shortly after I healed, I was being rushed back to the hospital again. In 2019, I ended up going back to Keesler, and when I went back to Keesler, I went there for tech school, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing that I went back to Keesler, because I ended up seeing the same doctor, and she referred me to a doctor in St. Louis. So from 2015 to 2019, I had 4 procedures, and I was told that all of them would work, but none of them worked. And in 2019, I had a quick outpatient surgery where they put a stent in a coil in my my vein, trying to get the blood to flow, and it still didn't work. So 2019, I met towards the middle, I met with my surgeon in St. Louis. He said that he could help me, and he did. And May 30th, my mom and I drove to St. Louis, and on May 31st, I had my surgery. And it took me 9 days in the hospital. 9 days. And it was the worst 9 days ever, because they literally had to cut down the center of my stomach, and they like move all my intestines. Like, I know it sounds gross, but imagine seeing a picture. Like, I saw a picture of my intestines pull all to the one side of my body, and I was like, and I was like, doc, I could really go the rest of my life without seeing that. I had to wait, my intestines had to move back. Like, I was extremely constipated. It was just constant pain. It was like agonizing pain. So after those 9 days, we drove back to Memphis, and I stayed with my mom for like a month, because I could not take care of myself. I could not take care of my children. So for a whole month, and I had to walk with a walker like the first 2 weeks. I was walking with a walker. I was extremely weak, and I just could not do anything for myself. So between that big surgery and when I was even before I was diagnosed, I was in the hospital about a little bit over 100 times. I had been rushed to the emergency room, and I had literally been rushed to the emergency room from every single building, except for like grocery shopping where you only stay like maximum of an hour, from my job multiple times, from my base multiple times, from my house, just everywhere, constantly rushed to the hospital, sometimes by ambulance, sometimes with people taking me, even from school, from college. When I worked at FedEx, I was rushed. I mean, I've been struggling with this even before I was diagnosed. So it was over 100 times, and I was admitted, besides, you know, having like a procedure or whatever, I was admitted I think 6 times where they kept me. So yeah, 6 times, and it has started to affect my kidneys. And if I hadn't got that big surgery, then my condition would have shut down my kidneys. The last time that I was admitted to the hospital, and it wasn't for a surgery or procedure, they kept me because I had blood in my urine, and it was because my blood was backflowing into the kidneys in a way that it wasn't supposed to. Now, I'm telling you all this from a patient's point of view, not from a doctor. So I don't know what the correct term for all of that is, but I'm just telling you what I was told and what I understand from it. Because it is my 2nd year living pain-free, and also you know, if you watch my grief video, you know that I lost my dad. I took just those 2 things into consideration and decided, you know what, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to start traveling more, having more fun, having more adventures, having more new experiences. And I want to share those experiences with you guys. So I will still be talking to you guys, giving you guys tips and all of that. But I want to also show you guys that it's not just about getting advice from someone. It's about living your best life, living in your moment, having fun for yourself, having fun for your children and with your children. So the next series of videos you'll see are will be me experiencing new things and having fun. But I will also keep up with, you know, talking to you guys, because a lot of people reach out to me and tell me how much they appreciate my advice and appreciate what I'm doing and taking the time to share these tips. So if you guys have any suggestions on, you know, fun places or fun experiences or things to do, or you want to share what you've done, let me know in the comment section. Now that you know my story, let me tell you how I made it through. So like I told you, from even before I was diagnosed up into June of 2019, I experienced pain almost daily. You know those scales that they give you on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you feel? My easiest day for 4 years, well, 5, 6, 7, however many, was 3. That was my easiest day, was at a 3. So I survived it using a couple of things. The first one is just staying out of stressful environments. I noticed that when I was stressed out, that's when the pain would be worse. Whenever I was stressed, things got worse for me. Then the second way is, of course, breathing. I did the in through your nose, out through your mouth. When you are panicking, or when you're in pain and you're panicking because you're in pain, you're only making things worse. And I learned that the hard way. Several times I've learned that the hard way. And the third thing I did was keep up on my regular doctor's visits, because I didn't want to risk anything getting worse. Now, let me let you know, hospital visits, if you have a rare condition like me, I had a very rare condition. There were a few times where the nurses and the doctors literally had to Google my diagnosis, because they had no idea what I was coming up with. They were like, what is this? And I was like, it's rare, please just look it up. And since there is nothing they can do about it, that leads me to my fourth thing of medication. Now, I really don't like medication, but if you're in enough pain Like, if you're in enough pain, you're going to take the medicine. You're going to take the shots, whatever they give you. When I was at Keesler, they refused to give me any narcotics like Dilaudid or anything like that. So they came up with this cocktail of like some of that calm you down medicine mixed with some Benadryl and something else. And so whenever I was rushed to the hospital, I had my own special cocktail that they would give me to help ease the pain, which I needed. I was in tech school for maybe 3 months, and I was rushed to the hospital, I think 12 times in 3 months in that time period. So the 5th thing I did was meditation and prayer. And I know you're thinking, how does that help with physical pain? But it does. Like, it helps you to stay grounded. It helps you to stay calm. It helps you to deal with it. Well, it helped me to deal with the pain, and then when the pain came, it helped me to find strength within myself. And that's another thing, like, it takes a whole heap of strength to be in pain every day and live in pain every day, and try to be your best. Like, I was a second grade teacher, and in pain every day, and there were days where my children had no clue. Like, my students and my actual children, there were days where they had no clue what was going on with me, because I got so used to, I'm not going to say suffering in silence, but I got so used to the pain that it was just part of life to be in pain. And that leads me to 5 or 6. I can't remember where I am. But I never gave up on finding doctors that could help me. Never. I never stopped researching. I never stopped reading. I never, I never gave up on myself and accepted that this is just what life will be. I could not accept that I am this young and my life, my healthy life, is over. That's just not something I was willing to live with. Another thing I did was to ignore certain people. Because you have those people, all you have to do is this, or all you need is this, and they've never been in your shoes. They've never felt your pain. And it would irritate me even more that they were simplifying what I was going through. And so I learned that if I ignore these people, I felt better. Just like, you're not a doctor, because most doctors don't even know what I'm going through. You're not a doctor. You can't tell me all I got to do is this. You're oversimplifying, my struggle. And I did do some exercise, and exercising definitely helped keep the stress down, because a big part of mine was if I got angry, if I got mad during pregnancies, before I got my hysterectomy, when it was my time of the month, whenever there was increased blood flow, that's when my illness would just wreak havoc on my entire life, because there's increased blood flow. Because there's increased blood flow, but the blood has nowhere to go. So it's blocking, the artery is blocking the blood from flowing. Veins are swelling. Boom. Life is kicking my butt. So, and I knew, it's kind of like knowing your triggers. Like, I knew when it was my time of the month, it's going to be even worse. I knew that during a pregnancy that it would be worse. So, knowing what sets off your illness, what sets off the pain, and avoiding those things as much as possible is definitely a good thing to do to help manage your pain. So if on rainy days, that your joints start hurting or anything start hurting, plan to stay indoors on those days. All right, so just like being proactive with the pain. Another thing that really helped me was cold and heat presses. I lived and breathed with my heating pad. I had I still have 3 heating pads. I do, because I would have to put one on my back, one on my lower back, one across my stomach when I was in pain. And if I didn't want to take medicine, I would literally be wrapped up like a mummy in my heating pads. And for some people, cold presses work. Cold presses hurt. Cold presses worked every now and again for me, but heat was it. Heat was golden. All right, so those are the things that helped me. If you have anything that's helping you, put it down in the comment section. My channel is for the community. My channel is for everyone, you know, to get help, the help that they need. And, you know, just if I didn't mention something, but it's something out there that helps you, you know, put it down there. And let's build a support group for each other. Let's build community for each other. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section. And don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Y'all have a blessed one.